We are here with Majesto, aka Dreamcastle, which I am so excited to learn about all their music and how they make it and stuff. And it's my first time speaking with a Lego figure. So how are you?
I am quite good. Yes, just vibing out here in my castle study with my various objects of power, which help me with my music. Yes, it's amazing to be talking with you and just chat about all things vaporwave and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I mean, I guess YouTube really likes you for some reason because you have a good amount of stuff out, but you've how long have you had this going, this project?
I started Dreamcastle in 2020,
Okay.
just 3 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy because you have a really nice following already.
Oh,
And
thanks.
yeah, and
I
people
mean,
respond to your stuff, which is really awesome.
yeah, I think that's probably the most surprising thing about it to me is um how much people in different individuals are saying how much they like it. Because I really just did this all for myself, like
Wow.
without really caring much about who would like it or not. It started with I noticed there were no Sonic Vaporwave albums, and it just seemed like it needed to be done. So I figured out how to do it myself.
Awesome. I love the mixes of your songs are like magical. They're like I don't know how to explain it. Like you're not really hearing all the different instruments. It's like one wash of sound that's like gorgeous. Like I love everything you've done. I'm not even kidding. Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, YouTube really loves you because for some, like I listen to a lot of stuff, but I mean, I would still consider myself like a vaporwave noob. Like I can't name artists. Like, you're probably like the only artist I could like actually name. Number one, because like it's hard to like pronounce any of them. But your stuff was always coming up in like the algorithm thing for me. You know,
Oh,
so
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
and
thanks.
yeah, no, and I'm so glad. I mean, it's like magical. I think Skyworld might be my favorite. I say that, but I mean, they're all my favorite. They're really great. And
Oh,
yeah, Skyworld is so they're all magical. Like, dude, the whole like aesthetic and everything is so cool. So you were just saying before we I started recording that you're a graphic designer. So like you have some crazy skills. I mean, you design the pixel art and like all that stuff. Your website is like incredible. You put out a book. So I'll just like go into that. Like what was the inspiration, you know?
sure, sure. Well, my main gig is graphic design and illustration when I'm not curating the Dream Castle. Um, but yeah, I guess I've always been kind of a visual storyteller. I I'm also writing, trying to write a longer novel than my short novel that I put out.
Oh,
Totally not related to vaporwave, but I guess it's just I dabble in a lot of things, so that really helps when it comes to putting this stuff together. Yeah, I guess that's what I can say about that.
awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely you dabble well. I wouldn't call it dabbling. You know what I mean, like some like heavy stuff, especially the website. I mean, the website is so cool. People need to go check that out. I'll obviously link that in the video.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I
what
will
is the
say
website? What'd you say?
I will say I'm not really a web designer. I used an obsolete program called Adobe Muse to build that
Okay.
I just happen to know how to use because my work uses it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like no coding, but it's also really crappy. But I just managed to get it to like somehow uh put together this website. Like I w really wish I could make it into like a full game, but I just can't. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be really hard. You know, what you're doing now is nuts. Just the art alone is like gorgeous. Like, how long would you say it took you to like make your album covers?
Um, Not very long. It's things that I just kind of pick up when I have time during a week and finish in a week. I did have some help on with Enter the Dreamcastle. The cover, the main image of the lair was done by this 3D artist who goes by R0SE Rose, I guess. Rose Art on Twitter. But yeah, um, it's all stuff I just do when I can. When I have time.
Wow.
I'm really busy most of the time.
Okay. How, how did you so you did like even the preview for your book on YouTube, which is like it had like the Dreamcastle
Mhm.
text come up, is like you did all that?
Yes, I did.
Wow. Which program are you using for that?
Photoshop, After Effects for the video. Um, yeah, Illustrator, that all of that stuff.
Wow.
Mostly
Yeah,
Adobe programs.
it's amazing. So I guess like everything in your life is just like it's like an amalgamation, if that's the right word. I don't know if I pronounced that right. You know?
Yeah, essentially.
Very cool. I love the titles on these songs too. So like I is there like Lego music or something? Like
There is. The
okay.
second album I put out was a Lego themed album. It was called All the Moments You Can't Return to. I think that was it.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it included Sonic stuff.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if we're getting, I got some background noise. I don't know if you're getting that.
Oh no, I'm not.
Okay. Uh, yeah, so that was album number two, All the Moments You Can Never Return to. And that's actually kind of where the Magisto uh, was born, began. He's the one on the cover.
Yeah.
That's in fact actually the name from the canon, if you can call it that, canon Lego sets. The
Okay.
wizard is named Magisto. Yeah,
Are you a big
as you,
Lego fan? Are
oh,
you
for sure. I'm a huge Lego fan. I uh, didn't do much Lego until probably 2020 when I got a wave of nostalgia and finally started purchasing some old sets.
wow.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
though it's
there's like
really
a
expensive.
I know, it's nuts. I was in the Lego store the other day thinking about you. Uh at the mall. I just like randomly went in and there was like I was like, man, I want to get some Legos because I walked by like Lego World stuff, I think it was called.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I was like, I want to grab some. Then I looked at the prices, like, yeah, I'm gonna get it off eBay. It was just like
Yeah,
insane. But yeah,
it
I
is
feel like
pretty
a
insane.
wave of nostalgia is like descended upon the masses or something because with like COVID, I guess,
Hmm.
there's like a massive surge of amazing music. And like I feel like it was really hard to find good music for a while, and now I feel like everywhere you turn, there is just like crazy good stuff.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely there. There's a lot of great stuff on Bandcamp. Um, that's such a great platform uh
definitely.
for discovery. Yeah, I'm sure COVID definitely made everyone kind of contemplate and put out these albums, musings on different things. Definitely times past before what feels like it feels like we're in a new era almost like
Yeah, yeah, it really does. I remember I
yeah.
used to have Rock Raiders for PS1.
Hmm.
There's an inspiration of that in these two, right?
Yep, there is a Rock Raiders song. Um, I I never got the game, but I heard about it afterward. And about the like there's a huge community of people who are into that game and who have tried to mod it, which is amazing. I love the internet
Yeah, I
when
know. I
people.
didn't know half that stuff like existed until like
Hmm.
recently. It is amazing.
Yeah.
I used to get Bionicle monthly comics, you know. So
Oh, oh, a monthly comic.
yeah, I
Oh,
don't even
that
know if it
sounds
was
awesome.
monthly. I think it was more than it might have been like bi-weekly or something. Like I got all,
Hmm.
and so you're
Yes.
a Bionicle person too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I kind of. Like I didn't really get into the lore past like probably the third year of Bionicle.
Okay.
Some people are just like they know everything there is to know about Bionicle, and I'm definitely not one of those persons, but I totally respect that. Like that's just cool.
Definitely. And I'm just wondering like what inspired these amazing atmospheres that you made, because even like I think you had I forget the name of it, but it was like over a Mario song. I think it's on Skyworld. I have a couple. The
Yeah,
Super 64.
yeah.
I'm talking about.
Mario and Skyworld. Maybe.
I'm not
I
sure.
have it all in front of me right now, so I'm just
Okay.
looking.
But the
Okay.
anyway, just like songs that I know, like you twist on their head. It's like you call yourself like the curator, but like it's definitely like original. You know what you're doing
Hmm,
here. So it's just really cool. Like just
thanks.
I just get like lost in the covers, like just like, staring at the picture. And the YouTube videos are amazing. So did you design those atmospheres? Some of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. Um, yeah, it's sort of I think the sound of Dreamcastle really came about kind of by the tools. The tools themselves kind of directed it. When I first heard about Vaporwave, I was trying to learn how to create it, and I heard that basically it sort of comes down to reverb and like dampening of the sound and like stretching and elongating.
Okay.
And I guess the key word or the repeated word is dreamlike, like making your taking a pre-existing sound and sort of distorting it until it feels like it's being heard through a dream, or like kind of the way that when you're asleep and sometimes you can hear like sound from the real world, but it's filtered in kind of a bizarre way.
Wow.
I'm obsessed with that idea. Um, but I kind of accidentally stumbled upon it by experimenting with stretching and adding reverb. I use this one plugin all the time called the TAL
Okay. I'm around to write
reverb
that.
plugin. Tall, tall. I just called the tall reverb too.
Okay.
And it's really simple and powerful. It's free because
Oh
I
wow.
get most of my stuff. I try to get most of my stuff free.
You're gonna have to send me some plugins. But like even if we have
Hmm.
time, we could even make this into the how to make vaporwave. We can do that too if you want.
Yeah, uh, I'm using a different computer right now, than my computer that I use Vaporwave on. So it'll probably be too much effort to switch computers right now.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, would you mean like screen share and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
all
just
right.
it's a completely different computer,
Yeah, no, we
but
can
I
do that at
can.
some point too. I just meant like you just like saying what you do basically, but
Oh yeah. Oh, I can talk to that for sure. I mean, what I basically said was the gist of it is it's the reverb and the stretching, the pulling. Um, and something else that I've learned about vaporwave. So here's the tip
okay.
for if you want to learn vaporwave. I think what makes it really cool is vaporwave artists, they kind of find parts of a song that are really interesting by themselves, like really short segments, and then they loop them or they rearrange them. And I think that, and they repeat them, and layer onto them over the course of the song. I think
Okay.
that can be a really interesting effect, the goal being basically to take one song and make it sound unrecognizable,
Yeah,
uh, at the other end of it. That's something I like to do. It's just like really great play with sound. I think just seeing how much you can basically extract the ghost of a song from it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I guess that's kind of like hip hop, like sampling stuff, and like I never really thought about how it's basically it like opened it automatically multiplied the amount of songs in the world by like I don't know, like not by two. Like there's an infinite amount of possibilities. Like you said, with
mhm.
chopping up songs, and like honing in on like those magical parts because like I love Sonic music so much. So it's so
Yeah.
yeah. I mean that I think that's the first one I heard by you. I'm pretty sure was your Hedgehog,
Mm-hmm.
which is amazing. And yeah, people need to check this stuff out. Like, well, you have a big. Would you say YouTube's like the biggest? Uh,
Yeah, that's probably where I'm the most active and
okay,
most subscribers
very
at the
cool.
moment.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
do you have new stuff? I'm sure you have new stuff planned, but I mean, the
Yes.
Dreamcastles is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have new things planned. I have an album that I'm slowly picking away at.
Okay.
Um, yeah, this it's going to be themed after the Lost World section of Sonic Adventure.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's all like Aztec-y and Mayan kind of.
Very cool.
Um, yeah, I was fascinated. That was probably my favorite part of that game when I was a kid. Um, and it got me into like studying books about Mayan architecture
Really?
and
No way.
like South America, like
Wow.
ancient civilizations. Uh, I also noticed that that's a similar aesthetic is in a bunch of video games from that time. It's like everyone suddenly thought, like, how cool would it be to have the character go to a ancient ruins that are in a jungle?
Oh yeah.
Uh, and but it's like in a very Japanese way, of course.
I love that.
So yeah, I definitely love that effect and that aesthetic.
The
So
Japanese just make everything better. Like, let's be honest. It's just true. Like any
hmm.
everyone should just like give their stuff to the Japanese because
Yeah.
they have such an amazing. I think it's like a spiritual thing or something that they filter through it. It's just I'm always in awe. I'm like a huge like manga fan and stuff like that. But like Sonic Adventure is just such a magical game. I don't like I want to spend more time in the atmosphere than even playing the game. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's what your albums are to me, you know, like stuff like that. Like something like Skyworld and there's yeah, it's just like you can really enter that world or
Hmm.
you know, it's just really cool. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely my goal to uh, allow a a listener to kind of in their head like v vibe out in that atmosphere. Like that feels like a combination of a dream and a combination of like the best parts of your childhood. But there's also like a tension there. The thing is, like, you can get really close to like those happy things, but you can't have them. Like there's sort of a barrier, like which is almost like how with dreams, you
yeah,
wake up, like the dream will eventually inevitably end. And that's also something I kind of like to think about when I'm curating the album, and like naming the tracks or writing like the descriptions that go with the songs.
yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, I appreciate it. I know a lot of people do. Like I was going through your comments and like people all are all like pretty much on the same page. Like it's so great to just enter this world, you know, this dream world you've made. I mean, everything's great. The name, like even like the setup you have is amazing. How long did it take you to put this little setup together?
Uh, I a few days. I had a lot of it already built, and I just kind of grabbed things from my Lego collection and put them together.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Uh, so do you want to talk about your book for a bit?
For sure.
Yeah, because that's a
Yeah.
huge undertaking. It's like what, like 70 something pages?
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty short overall. Most of the space is taken up by images.
Okay.
Um, but how much of it did you get into?
No, barely any, just the sample. There's like a small
Okay.
sample on Amazon. I am going to, like, I'm looking forward to it. I just, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was I forget what made me I created a box art a box for myself of the Dreamcastle. It looks like a game box from the 90s for
Yeah, I'll
like a PC
flash that
game.
on the screen.
You can see that in some of the videos. And then I thought, well, I have to make a manual to go with this because I guess those old games often came with these really thick manuals.
Wow.
So the
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, so you
and
did
then
that. So the box came first.
it did come
It's pretty
first.
funny. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So then that led to me wanting to write like a longer version of the track description
Mm,
from the album, which just turned into a short story. Which was cool because I had been thinking about, I kind of had a story in my head the whole time while creating that album. Like some of the tracks were just things I arrived to at, but others I were planned. I wanted it to be like this immersive story about you, the listener, going into a new world, kind of this like liminal space, a mall kind of thing,
mm.
mall castle. Uh, and so I kind of took that and went in that direction. And yeah, there's an illustration for every chapter. Um,
And you made all them?
yes, yes.
Wow.
Um, Although this was last year, I actually used I needed like a photograph in a few spots of things that didn't exist. So I used some AI tools to help me make those photographs.
Okay.
Uh that's the only things that I didn't really create. But um
Still like
yeah,
chalk.
overall.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. How long do you think it took you to make that? Like write it out?
Um it came together over probably 2 months. It came together really fast. I just was like idea and done. There's
Okay. Wow.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, they're all really like original sounding, even though like you're borrowing sounds from other places and stuff. But the Dreamcastle is definitely like the most, I don't know, all consuming work, I guess. Even the website really made it feel real to me.
Yeah, I went pretty crazy. Like I kind of surprised myself when I
I
made
love
it.
it. Yeah.
Just because I was like really determined to see this kind of vision come together.
Mm.
Um yeah, between that and like picking out like video footage for the video. Um yeah, there were I on that album I was actually doing some chiptune work.
Okay.
I created some original songs that I used the N64 sound fonts to put
I have them
together.
all over my stuff. I love them.
Yeah, and that was so fun. Making something that sounds like it's from a game that doesn't exist. Like,
Yeah.
that's I love that so much.
Me too. Once I found out, all I had to do was like press a button to like download a sound font. I was like, "There's no way. This is crazy."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use a lot of sound fonts.
Awesome. What there was a video in Sky World. I want to ask you what game it was. It's like a ship flying around.
Yeah, I found that randomly while looking for videos for the
Oh, okay.
album. I think it's called 20,000 Leagues Above the Clouds.
Okay.
It turns out it's a canceled game, like an indie game that someone started making, and it just never came together. But the demo's still up.
Okay. It
Um,
looks so cool. I was like, what is
it
this?
really does.
Yeah, that thing
Yeah.
like, pulling the cities down and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I've yet to play it myself, but
Okay.
the video looked great, and some other videos of the same game looked great.
Are you a
Yeah.
Mega Man fan by any chance?
Um, yeah, casually, I definitely I'm pretty familiar with the Nintendo games. Not much else beyond that, but
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask if you ever listen to like Mega Man Legends because I did a couple vaporwave like remixes of that.
oh,
Like, yo, if you did a Mega Man Legends vaporwave album, I'd freak out.
I could definitely look into that. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I I forgot. I've seen Legends. I haven't played it, but
oh
my
the
brother used to
music's
play it.
in it is awesome. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. Definitely like the look of that game. it's always a blue sky, like with white clouds and like really green grass. Like
I love it.
that's that look, the Japanese I don't know, you could call it blue sky,
Oh yeah.
sky world look.
Okay. Um, what what are your plans like for the future? Like what? So you have the one album you're just like slowly working at.
hmm
Or do you send your
Yeah.
stuff to labels?
Mm, no, I just want to keep everything free, I guess,
Mm.
and just sort of do it whenever I feel like it.
Okay.
That's basically the plan is to just wherever the wind blows,
Do you
create.
have more music projects that are like secret?
Um, More than just Dreamcastle?
Yeah.
No, actually, I there aren't. I did at one point have a Bandcamp page of like guitar and like vocal stuff. It is gone now.
Oh, oh man.
It's not that great, I think. Um, but yeah, this is just everything for now. The other things beyond Dreamcastle that I'm focusing on are really just my novel.
Okay.
It's actually a children's novel. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah, so that's the big fish that's frying.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, like you have a. I was only asking about the label thing because like since you have such a big YouTube following, I'm sure a label would be like, yo, like, like they definitely work. You know.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I never
I mean,
thought about
you already
that.
have a lot there yourself, so it's probably just gonna grow. You know.
Yeah, it is. I think it's small in YouTube terms, though. Like, I don't know. The only thing I'm comparing it to is videos that I watch that have like a million views
Yeah,
after like 3 months. So I don't know how people do that, but
I get it. I have like over 500 videos, and like I just don't, just can't get
hmm
traction for some reason. But how are you tagging these? Like, are you just doing like vaporwave, or are you just like, are you going in like deep, like putting a lot of stuff?
uh, I probably put up like not that many tags, maybe five,
Wow.
just like Sonic, Vaporwave, Lego, Retro, Nostalgia, Wizard, like
Wow.
probably something like that. I don't know if putting more tags or less tags helps or not.
Yeah, I'm starting
I
to
have
think
no
less.
idea.
I think less might be the way.
Yeah, makes sense.
Um, I was gonna say, like, what are more artists that like? Are there any specific artists that inspired you to start doing this?
Yeah, yeah. Um, the first one that comes to mind is US Golf.
Okay,
Um,
I'm gonna definitely look them up immediately.
yeah, it's
U.S. golf.
good. US Golf.
Okay.
Um, right, it's US Golf Vaporwave. Yeah, US Golf 95. That's it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and I think he does really good with kind of the vaporwave idea. He really like chops up his samples and just like curates a real atmosphere of like haze. You're like lost in some weird dream. His all his albums are like golf themed, which is
Really?
really funny. Like golf, but like specifically like golf bro games from like the 90s,
A
like
big
for like
ball like at the bar.
yeah, like that, or even just like weird PC games,
Oh wow.
um, where there's like grainy full motion videos of like people explaining how to golf, like that specific aesthetic.
Okay. Very cool.
Is cool.
Any more
Uh,
artists? Or is that just like is that like your main?
um, that's the main one. Um, Polygon Dreams was the one who's inspired um me to do Sonic Wave because he put out Zelda Wave. Uh
Yeah, I think I sang over one of his songs
yeah.
and like added synths and stuff like in my own music.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there's just so much great stuff.
Mm-hmm. I listen to a lot of mixes of Vaporwave,
Same.
so I don't always catch the artist names.
That's what's bad
Um,
about it. Like you have a whole thing that you can like people can like latch onto. I did think you were a compilation. I thought the Hedgehog Wave was a compilation until
uh,
like the day I asked to like interview you. When I found out it was you, and I like found like your website, I was like, no way. I was like, this is crazy. Because I
that's
thought it was
funny.
just, yeah, I really thought it was just like a compilation. I'm like,
Hmm.
amazing. Um, so I guess we'll get into how you make a vaporwave. You talked about a reverb, that you use the TAL reverb. I was wondering like what your methods are and like what your aim is. Like, are you
Hmm.
using music only music that you know, or like
I'm I'm
sample?
generally I'm using a lot of music that I know from games that were released between like 95 and like 2005. Kind of that's definitely my golden era of gaming.
Definitely.
And like in a lot of Japanese games and console games, they were still like doing all this like stuff with synths, and um that sound is really cool uh to me. So that's pretty much what I focus on, what I dig into. I do a lot of Sonic music because I know that probably super well.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Sonic is just something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole world with the music and everything. I think Mega Man is like pretty similar to that,
Mm-hmm.
where they have well, and they like have blue everywhere. So
Yeah, blue for sure. Blue everywhere.
yeah.
Just that's the key word, key color. Um, yeah. What was I gonna say? But I guess what I try to do is I try to extract the ghost of the song. And
That's such a beaut. That's a. I keep cutting you off. I'm to compliment you. I'm sorry. That
that's
is a
fine.
great way to describe that.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that on not my original words, somebody else's I saw online.
It's perfect though.
It is really though, um, like because it's like I'm fascinated with memory, the way our memories like distort over time and they kind of become ghosts of
Mm,
the real thing that happened. You can you can almost like you kind of end up remembering like all of the good things and maybe not as much of the mundane things or the bad things. And like I love the way that when you kind of remember things that happened to you in the past, it's this haze. Like that's kind of the what I try to do with the song is make it like that.
mm.
And also kind of the tension and like the pain of not being able to go back to your memories or to the real thing. And like even if you could go back to the real thing, like it just wouldn't be the same as what you remembered.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think a lot of vaporwave tries to do that in a way, but I'm particularly fascinated with that idea.
Yeah. I definitely noticed there's like two categories of like vaporwave artists. Like you're like the misconception of it is that it's just like copying people's music and throwing reverb on it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Hmm.
it's like this like deeply spiritual thing that people are trying to like find their past self and stuff. It's
Yeah.
just this like everyone's like, oh, it's just to like criticize consumerism. So it's like, yeah, sure. It's like, no, this music that people are using means a lot to them. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why they want to add onto it and embellish it. Like me being able to step into these worlds, like Sky World, and go into the Dreamcastle and all this stuff. It's special, and but it also wouldn't exist if this other music didn't exist. So
Hmm.
thankful for it.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Which DAW are you using when you record?
I'm using GarageBand.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Wow. Okay.
it's got a few dumb limitations, but I've kind of just learned to work around them over time. I mean, I would love to try out Logic. I just can't afford it.
I feel that. Yeah, I use
Uh,
Logic, but
uh-huh.
my favorite artist, Alex G. Ever hear of him?
Maybe.
he's like an indie rock artist. He does everything in GarageBand, and he's like signed
Yeah.
and has like a huge following and stuff. And what you're
Oh
doing in
yeah.
GarageBand is, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like GarageBand, you can, it's probably something to do with settings. I feel like I really get cleaner sounding recordings out of GarageBand than when I use like Logic or something. I
Oh,
don't,
that's interesting.
yeah, I don't know if that's actually a thing or I
Huh.
make it up, but I have for my own stuff, I've noticed that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so all the plugins and stuff you use are free.
Essentially, well, not all of them. I've bought a few, but I definitely like the sound fonts, um,
Yeah.
the tall reverb plugin. Uh, there's a lot of stuff I don't know how to do, honestly, and like I'm still figuring out mastering. Um,
I don't.
I like I barely understand what a like an exciter is or like I'm sort of I just kind of wing it with compression.
Okay.
I just listen to it and try to make sure that uh, I also use Audacity to try to like just like try to master it because I can see
Okay.
the waves and I can tell if they're like peaking or whatever.
Mm.
But yeah, GarageBand. I mean, the thing is, it's simple and like maybe it's good for me because it pairs everything down to the most essential things that I need.
Definitely. There's a lot of extra something with audio people, like they like to act like it's the hardest thing in the world and like no one else can learn it. But it actually is quite simple in principle, and a lot of people, do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people
Hmm.
can't let themselves just like dumb it down for other people. I find that so frustrating because I'm not a good learner. It was really hard for me to figure this stuff out. It's admirable knowing that you use GarageBand. It's really cool, and it should excite other people listening. That want to make
Yeah,
this.
man.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've loved GarageBand. I've used it for a long time, with a ton of different things. But yeah, and it's got a lot of like hidden features that give you more control over your output.
Okay.
Um, just like being able to use VSTs
Mm,
is a big one. It's kind of like it you can it's kind of hard to find, but it's there. If you
okay.
look up a tutorial, you can use a VST if you want.
All yeah, awesome. And like, how long did it take you to start? You got to bounce in a couple minutes, but how long did it take you to start making this music? Because like I only see like a finished product of a couple albums. You know what I mean? Like for me, I have like
Hmm.
stuff going back to like 2012. So like you definitely see like a progression. But this
Yeah.
your stuff, it seems like it's like everything is polished and gorgeous, and like you a person will buy right into it, and it's easy to navigate. So I'm just wondering, yeah, what the backstory is.
Thanks.
Hmm.
I the first track that I made was the like future funk remix at the end of Sonic Wave.
Okay.
Um, because I just was like, there should be a future funk remix of the songs from Sonic CD. Because I had gotten into vaporwave like that for the last couple years at
Me
that
too.
point. So I made that and I actually posted it on a different channel and it got like 2 views and then I was like, okay, and then I just took it down eventually. Um, but I then I just slowly over time was just like just made a song and then I made another one and then after a while I had like a few songs. It kind of I don't know. It might have been a few months, 3 or 4 months, and just the key was not caring, just like doing this because I like it.
That's
Like
cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I try to keep just like leaning into the enjoyment of the creation.
Mm.
I feel like that's probably the best way to create anything is just you got to be enjoying like the creation process.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
I I appreciate you doing this. It's super cool to talk to you. It's my first time talking to a vaporwave person.
Thanks.
An honor.
I don't I don't feel like much of a vaporwave person. Like there's people out that argue about like what the definition of vaporwave is, which is really stupid because it can be anything you want
Yeah.
really. But like I would probably be like listed toward the bottom because I don't know. I like throw
Okay.
in random chiptune crap and like
I like what's it called? Like I prefer your stuff over other stuff. I mean, a lot of vaporwave stuff is like you get a beat, it's like dan 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 for like hours. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay,
uh-huh.
and that's fine.
Yeah,
I love that stuff too. But your stuff is like a world, and that's what I love. So, like you said, vaporwave. Like you're right. I don't know if that's the correct word for it, but whatever it is, it's awesome. You know, and I love it, and keep on doing it for sure.
thanks, man.
Please, as
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I'll yeah, see what I can do.
Yeah. Well,
Um, yeah.
I'll let you go. I know you got to bounce. If there's anything else you want to promote real quick, or you want to talk about what you where to find you and stuff like that.
Yeah, just find me on YouTube at I think it's I can't remember the link. It's out there, Dreamcastle. You if you look for Dreamcastle TM, you'll find
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You search
Yeah,
youtube.com/.
yeah. Check out my book. Keep an eye out for a new album, and yeah,
Awesome.
thank you for visiting the Dreamcastle.
Anytime. I'm honored. Have a good one. Thank you. It was great to meet you.
You too. Yeah, great to meet you too.
All right.
All right, bye.